As I read the Bible, I'm amazed time and time again to catch a glimpse of God's heart for the lost, the hurting, the downtrodden. Specifically, in so many instances, we are told that we should care for the orphans, the widows, those who don't have justice, those who are hurting, those who are oppressed. Here at Hope International Missions, our end goal is to make disciples, but we firmly believe that on the path of discipleship, we have a responsibility to meet people's felt physical needs as well. Why? One of the reasons is because often when we meet a physical need, it gives us an open door to minister to people's spiritual needs. So in different places around the world, we have various humanitarian works, which are first in obedience to God's command to help the helpless, but which also buy us the right to minister to people's spiritual needs. In the world of missions, there has been debate about the place, the role of humanitarian missions. We believe that if done with the end goal in mind, humanitarian missions are critical to helping advance the gospel around the world. Africa is one of those places where we have several humanitarian works. Today you will hear from Glenn Galt as he introduces a unique ministry we have through our clinic in Matuking. Later on, he will share how we are reaching out to dozens of orphans there in Lesotho and helping them meet some of their most fundamental needs. It's often easy to think that missions are just for missionaries that are called to go and spend a lifetime in a foreign country. But when it comes to humanitarian works, there is often a role for short-term missionaries, those who are skilled in a specific area that we are working with and who can help us by going and contributing those skills on a particular field. So as you listen to Glenn Galt today, I would challenge you to keep your heart open to what God might ask of you. There might be a specific way that you can fit into the humanitarian work that God is helping us accomplish in Africa.
I'm standing here at Hope International Missions Clinic in Lesotho. The mission statement of Matuking Health Center is to provide excellent holistic primary health care to the Matuking catchment area and beyond while exhibiting Christ-like compassion. This clinic is tasked with providing health care for 44 villages around the Gimi Plateau. On a daily basis, we see people who are very sick with HIV/AIDS. They deliver babies. We care for people who have diabetes and high blood pressure, as well as the normal illnesses like colds and flu and things like that. But in order to be holistic, we're not just interested in meeting only physical needs, we also care about people's spiritual needs. Every morning we start out with prayer here, and then also we do health education after prayer. We pray with our patients and we care about the whole person. There are far more physical health care needs in Lesotho than we can ever meet here at the Matuking Health Center. We're looking for medical professionals that could join us on short-term medical teams to meet specific healthcare needs in the country of Lesotho. I envision eye doctors who could come and help the many people who have vision problems. We also need a team of dentists. There's many opportunities for healthcare professionals to serve the population of Lesotho. And it wouldn't just be to care for physical needs. Your professional skills could open doors for the gospel in new places in the country of Lesotho. There are many places in Lesotho where people would not welcome an evangelical church. But if we can provide them with high-quality medical services, it opens the door for them to hear the gospel, and then they are much more open to accepting the church. If you are willing to use the skills and training that God has given you in a cross-cultural setting, we would welcome your involvement here in the country of Lesotho. If you're a doctor, a nurse, technician, a CNA, anyone with professional medical skills, we need your help to meet people's physical needs as well as help others prepare for eternity here in Africa. Though Hope International Mission's end goal is to make disciples, it's not always easy to just go into a country and start making disciples. Sometimes you need something that will help you get established in the country. In 1976, the Rayfelts came as missionaries from America to make disciples in Lesotho, but they couldn't get into the country until they started Matuking Health Center. And that opened the door for them to begin evangelism and church planting all through the country of Lesotho. When they first came, it was pretty primitive here at Matuking. There was no electricity, no running water, no paved roads around here, and so it was difficult for them to work. But over the years, and by God's grace, a lot has changed until now we have some beautiful facilities here at Matuking that were built through a grant from the U.S. government in 2012 and 2013. Even when we came in 2000, there was still no electricity and the running water was a little on and off sometimes. And I can remember in some of those early times holding a flashlight while one of the nurses was suturing up a wound at night. This is the only clinic in this area here. People from other areas will walk in a long distance to come here. Some will have to travel by taxi or maybe 2 taxis to get here. So we've served many people and touched a lot of lives, not just physically, but also with the message of the gospel. We offer all the primary health services here, treating sick people, sick babies, pregnant mothers, all those things. For example, on Monday is the Under 5s Day, when the mothers bring their children to be weighed and vaccinated, make sure they're growing well, help them with any problems they have. And then on Tuesdays, the pregnant mothers come for the prenatal care. And on Wednesdays, they treat the chronic diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure, antiretroviral therapy for people who have AIDS, all those different things. Thursday and Friday are a little more relaxed, just treating the sick people that come. Those are some of the services we offer here at the clinic. Let's go in and let me show you around the clinic now. This is the main waiting area here, where we have our prayer in the morning and patients come in and wait here until they get the service they need. And they do the blood pressure. The scale is there and we measure them over here. The pharmacy is there, that door, and it's a well-stocked pharmacy. They get the drugs that they need to take care of whatever sickness they have. The main consulting rooms are down the hall over here. Let's go and have a look there. These are our consulting rooms here, these rooms on this side. The observation room is back here. That's where we see the babies and they get their shots and get weighed and all that in there. And then a really important room for us is the counseling room up here. That's where people go for counseling and testing and treatment of HIV and AIDS. The mission of Matuking Health Center is to provide excellent primary health care to the Matuking catchment area and beyond while exhibiting Christ-like compassion. Let's talk a little bit about that holistic health care. We really want to emphasize the spiritual side of our care here. One of the things I've learned in my years here in Africa is that a lot of illnesses are actually caused by spiritual problems here. In the Western world, a lot of times through science, we assign a reason to everything, and it's not spiritual reasons. But here in Africa, lots of illnesses are caused by spiritual problems. And many times our nurses will come up against cases here where somebody's sick and they can't figure out what's wrong. And then they realize that it's a spiritual problem. Not too many weeks ago, one of the nurses was treating a child who had a problem with the neck. The neck was just rigid and the child's head was all cocked off to one side. And she checked the child over for meningitis and all the normal things that she could think of. And then she realized that that child had a spiritual problem, a demon problem instead. So she called one of the pastors to come over here to the clinic and pray with that child and the child's mother. And through that, the mother started attending the church here at Matuking and has gotten saved now. Probably back in the 70s, those first missionaries had no idea of the impact that Matuking Health Center would make here in the country of Lesotho. By meeting people's physical needs, doors have been opened to reach out to their spiritual needs also. People have gotten saved, congregations have been established, and thousands of lives have been touched through Matuking Health Center here in the country of Lesotho. Today we're having a special Orphan Day for the orphans of 2 of our congregations in Lesotho. Let me give you just a couple statistics that help you understand the orphan problem in Lesotho. Almost a quarter of the population is HIV positive or they have AIDS, and 11% of the children of Lesotho have lost both of their parents. Looks like these kids are having a lot of fun here today, but behind the laughing there's a lot of sad stories. Parents have passed away because of AIDS. Some of them have been abandoned. There's crushing poverty in some of their lives. Many of them live with their grandparents or aunts and uncles, And a lot of times they're loved there, but they never really belong in that family. They're kind of held at arm's length. Some of them even live alone in a child-headed household. There's no way we can give them back their families. All the money in the world can't buy that for them. But what we can give them is a loving church family, a safe group where people take care of them, see that their needs are supplied, show them love, and give them that critical sense of belonging. We do our best to help them with the urgent humanitarian needs like food, clothes, and shelter, but we especially want to give them a future. And one of the most important ingredients of giving a child in Lesotho a good future is education. The government of Lesotho provides free primary education through the 7th grade, and this is a great help for students, but they still need books and school uniforms and shoes. So HIM tries to help around 80 children every year to get school uniforms or shoes or whatever it is they need in order to be successful in school. But to really get a job and have a future in Lesotho, children need a high school education, and that's not free. HIM is helping a number of orphans with a scholarship program so that they can complete their high school education. We also help some of the orphans go to trade schools so that they can supply their own needs and work for themselves. We try to give them not just a hand out, but a hand up.
In the book of James, chapter 1, we are told that pure religion, real religion, undefiled religion, is a religion where we visit the widows and the orphans, those who are afflicted, and we help share the love of God with them. We meet their needs. Today you've heard about how we are doing that through the clinic in Matuking and through the orphan ministries. God is helping Hope International Missions continue to meet people's felt needs, all the while providing us with opportunities to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and the understanding that people's ultimate spiritual needs are met through a relationship with Jesus Christ. Thank you for assisting us as we meet people's physical and spiritual needs around the world.